Shree Muktajeevan Swamibapa Pipe Band London and Bolton had the privilege to perform in the presence of His Majesty the King and Queen and the Royal Highnesses Prince William and Princess Catherine. We had the privilege to perform in the presence of the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, at Wembley Stadium.
The biggest one's coming up here. It's the Lord Mayor's show in 2025. So we're going to be playing at that. We are all flying out. All 6 bands will perform at this festival in India in January 2026.
Hello and welcome to Out of Britain. I'm Radhika Iyer and I'm coming to you from an extremely ornate, in fact, the world's first eco-friendly temple in the United Kingdom. You heard it. And I'm going to show you some extremely exciting visuals. Let's first listen in. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Shree Muktajeevan Swamibapa Pipe Band, taking the internet by a storm. This is a band which is such an excellent example of fusion. When India decides to exchange culture, this is what happens. Repertoires from Scottish Highlands to Indian music being formed as part of this band's cultural exchange. I'm going to let you listen to the sounds while I'm going to bring you the history of who these people are. Shree Muktajeevan Swamibapa Pipe Band. Oh, that was so lovely. So lovely. With me is Samir, who's going to tell us just why and who decided to have Indians, Hindus, with this beautiful tilak on your forehead, but wear a Scottish kilt. How very exciting, unusual, innovative is that? Come here, please, Samir. Introduce yourself and tell us about who all of you amazing people are.
Thank you. My name's Samir. I'm a pipe major in Shree Muktajeevan Swamibapa Pipe Band, and the band was actually established in 1972 and inspired by our guru, Shree Muktajeevan Swamibapa, who in 1970, when he came to London, a parade was held in his honour in central London, and a Scottish marching pipe band took part in that parade. And he absolutely loved the discipline, the dedication of that band, and inspired his own disciples, us, to establish our own band. So since 1972, we've had our own Scottish pipe band.
How unusual is that? Are you in the band because your guru inspired you, or are you in here because, what an unusual idea, I'm going to wear the kilt and I'm going to wear the tilak and just show the world how a good fusion works?
Absolutely. Well, every member of the band is also a disciple of Guru Shree Muktajeevan Swamibapa. So everybody is motivated and inspired by him, and that's why we're all in the band. But actually, having joined the band, there are so many other skills that we develop, teamwork, discipline, dedication, and those are useful in all walks of life.
Excellent. So 1972, Swamibapa founded this band because he was inspired by a parade and he thought, oh wow, what discipline. So let me try and do this as well. So was he part of the band as well?
No, so he is the head of our faith at the time, and so essentially he's our religious leader. And so he inspired us to form the band. And we started with very humble beginnings. We only got the Scottish uniform in 1991. And since we've established the band, we've got six sister pipe bands all around the world with well over 250 players.
Wow. So you're 250 in strength?
Absolutely, yeah.
Across
internationally,
the world?
across the world.
Okay. And in UK alone?
Around 80 members.
80 members. And do all of these 80 members have Scottish kilts, which they will wear when they're performing?
Yeah, absolutely. And each of our 6 sister bands has a different tartan. This is a Royal Stuart tartan that we've wanted to adorn as part of Shree Muktajeevan Swamibapa Pipe Band London. And our other bands around the world have their own tartan. And on rare occasions, we all get together globally, internationally, usually in India, and get to play together, which is quite a spectacle.
Wow. When was the last time that happened?
In 2007.
Okay.
And that was our Swami Bapa's 100th manifestation anniversary.
How lovely is that? So it was a tribute.
It was a tribute.
Fantastic. How heavy is that?
So the uniform full up is around 24 kilos. So it's pretty weighty.
Wow. So you're wearing 24 kilos on the body and someone's doing the bagpipe or the drum,
Yeah, absolutely. So various instruments of different weights. Obviously, the bass drum is the heaviest. That's probably not the most remarkable part. We play in minus 10 degrees in Paris New Year's Day parade, for example. And then we also play in India in plus 40 degrees as well. So it's a very versatile uniform, and we go in all temperatures and all climates.
Are you warm in that during the winters? Or is it the workout when you're...
No, it is pretty cold. The fingers tend to freeze. But when we're playing in 40 degrees, we have the opposite challenge where we're sweating buckets.
Samir, have you had unusual compliments? For instance, has anybody noticed the fact that you're wearing this tilak on the forehead, even as you're wearing the kilt?
Obviously, people do ask, and the tilak is probably the key component of the uniform. And it's a symbol of our faith. So it's absolutely vital that we wear that. And of course, people do ask, and that gets us into a conversation like we're having today about the origins of the band and why we exist.
What's the best part about being in this band?
I would absolutely say being able to travel all around the world and play at some really prestigious events.
Your favorite memory?
My favorite memory is probably 2007, where we had all of our bands together and we're all able to play with our brothers from all around the world. It was quite a spectacle through the streets of Ahmedabad. Yeah, it was huge.
And you were wearing that in Ahmedabad?
Absolutely.
And you were sweating?
Very much.
Buckets?
Buckets.
Okay, excellent. Do you travel with all of this and the equipment when you go around, or how does it work?
Absolutely. So we have to travel with our uniform packed very carefully, our instruments as well. Yeah. So yeah, we travel as a band where we possibly can, and certainly where we're having international trips, we are always traveling together.
And last question about the bagpipers, which I'm very curious. It's easy for us to pick up the flute because from India, followers of Krishna or Swami Narayan, there's this very common natural alignment, but these are bagpipers. Was that hard? Is that hard?
Yeah, so the journey to being a piper is around 3 or 4 years, so it takes quite a long time. So it's not just the music that's challenging, it's obviously the physicality of the bagpipe itself, it's the discipline of marching, it's learning all the different maneuvers that we would see on parade, and actually being able to bring that all together in difficult environments, plus wearing a 20 kilos plus uniform. To bring all of that together is quite a journey of 3 or 4 years before we're able to perform in uniform.
Do you get trained formally by Scottish professionals who can tell you how to march, etc., or is it all just YouTube videos and how first-time movers to the UK would have learned cooking? Is that how it is?
No, so that's a really good question. So the first generation of our band was taught by a professional piper and a drummer, etc. But since then, we've learnt those disciplines ourselves. So we teach, we write music, both Indian melodies as well as traditional Scottish music. So we write that and we teach it to our own as well. So we have those disciplines within the band.
Excellent. Now let's listen into some music by the Swamibapa band. What would life be if you joined a band such as this one, Scottish band or like how people would call it, a viewer would call it, the Hindu Scottish band or a Scottish Hindu band, etc. When you start playing at the age of 12, like Devendra did, and then he's now retired from the band, why would you quit a band such as that? Why have you retired?
I'm not talented enough. I say, look, it's important that when I joined, it was important for me that I had a legacy, for other children. So my 2 boys play in the band.
Yeah.
So it's important that we give succession. So like any great organisation, if you're out of favour like I am, it's best to give it to young people. But look, the band was fantastic.
Oh, so is there a set number of people that can be on the band?
Yeah, there's quite a lot of competition. So if you wanted to be a drummer, which is the best part of the band, I was a drummer.
Yeah.
Then you have to.
Hey, he's biased, isn't he?
I'm not biased. It's the truth. That it's important that we have the best people playing. So there's a competition. They practice quite intensively.
Yeah. So let's stand here. So we have them in the backdrop as you. Yes, please. Yes. So which one's the drummer again, Devendra? Is it the big one?
The snare drums at the back.
Yeah.
And then you have the tenor drums, which are sort of in the the third row there. And then you've got the bass drums, which are the 2 big drums.
Yeah.
And then you've got the pipes, which is a majority of the band.
Yes. When you were 12 and you joined this, was that your decision or was it your parents?
No, I was really keen. I think it's important. Look, like everything, if you're not got passionate about it, you won't be as good as you can be. Yeah. So I always wanted to be in the band. Yeah. I started off as a piper, but my ambition was always to play in the drums. So I was lucky enough to get the opportunity to play the snare drums, which I did for about 16 years.
Great. And Devendra, when you retired from the band, of course, for many good reasons, which is to give way to other younger people, what transformed in Devendra when he was 12 and he didn't have any experience to the time you retired? What changes in you?
When I joined the band, it was a real privilege. And quite, it's a bit of a badge of honour. So I learned a lot when I was there: discipline, resilience, camaraderie, collaboration, all the stuff that makes great leadership. So I took that on my journey. So I always wanted to be, in the construction industry, a project manager. So a lot of those sort of leadership qualities, the governance, the right thing to do, wanting to be the best, all of those sorts of things I learned through the band journey, which I've taken forward in the rest of my career and instilled into the kids, like my children that are playing. So I have to say, without the band, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
And let the viewers know what you're doing now. You're CEO on...
Yes, I'm chief executive of a major construction, probably the largest privately owned construction company in the UK, a company called Mace Group. So I've been there 18 years. I worked on some amazing schemes. London 2012, I've been there for pretty much 18 years. I'm doing a lot of work in India with the Adani Group. We're doing Mumbai train station at the moment. So it's a global business that I look after, about 7,000 people.
With me is a 20-year-old Vasant, who's going to be chatting with us about why you're here on a Sunday evening. Why not sit at home and watch some Netflix show?
Well, it's good in like other aspects of life. I think you learn a lot of things like discipline. It's almost like a brotherhood here as well, like all
the bros.
All the people that I've known for like 20 years, like they're all here. So.
All your long life. Yeah. Okay. Which one's your favorite tune, Vasant?
Oh God. I think some of the Scottish ones are like, it's very nice to learn because they're usually more difficult than our more traditional Indian tunes. So those are always quite fun to learn. Yeah.
And in a word, what does this band do to the world? Not mean to you. I'll come to that later. But what does this band offer to the world? In word.
Represents. I think it shows the whole world our temple, what we do, the charitable things that we do as well. Many things fall under that, but yeah, I think.
So basically a reflection.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a reflection of our temple and what we do.
Excellent. And what does, in one word, this band mean to you?
Family, I think. Yeah, I think we all get along very well. We all go on abroad trips and things like when we have to perform elsewhere. So it's nice, yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that the best part, traveling together?
Yeah, everyone's smiling now.
Yeah. When is the last time you guys traveled? When was it?
Just a few months ago, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, okay. And where do you go?
We've been to places like Nice in France, Monaco. We've been to Italy. Obviously, we go to India a lot as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, we get to see a lot of very like unique places.
What do you think people think when they're watching you all play? Not play, you perform.
It turns a lot of heads, I guess. I think it's unexpected because it's like obviously, a bunch of people of Indian heritage and we're playing Scottish instruments, Scottish tunes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's interesting. It turns heads, and that's what we want to do. We want to represent our temple in a way that the most amount of people will see it. So
yeah, that's the point, right? Make someone curious, get them to turn their head towards you, and half the job is done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Excellent. And have you, at some point, stopped to reflect and think where you'd be 5 years from now? What's the message all of you would like to give? And I'm asking you this question because you're a young man at 20, and at 20, everybody wants to change the world, right? What does this band want to achieve?
Just to keep improving. I think we've been taught, to stay humble, stay true to our roots. I think it's important just that we don't get carried away. We just keep improving. I think it's, as I said, like it's obviously we're all friends, we're all family here. I think just to keep improving together, it would, in 5 years, that would make us feel like it was worth it.
Improve as human beings, or
both? Obviously, in our ability and our quality and what we do, but also as human beings. Of course, things like discipline. We're taught all of these things like straightforward in this band. So yeah, as individuals as well, of course.
Yoga guru B.K.S. Iyengar said, "The mind is the master of the senses, but the breath is the master of the mind." How's your breath at the moment after playing that bagpiper, Raj?
I'm tired. I tell you that. I have asthma, but actually playing the bagpipe has helped my asthma quite a lot. Initially, when I first started playing the bagpipe, I was only able to play for maybe 15 to 20 minutes, and then I'd need my inhaler, for example. Now I can go 45 minutes to an hour and not even need my inhaler. So now my breath has become better. So yeah.
Wow, what a story. What an amazing achievement. Well done, you.
Thank you very much.
So do you play any other instrument, or is it just the bagpipe?
No, just the bagpipe.
Fact. Bagpiper, playing the bagpiper can help with asthma.
Yeah, that's proven. As a proven fact.
Tell me about you. Who are you?
So I'm Raj, so I'm 24 years old. I started my journey in the band in September 2014, once this new Grand Magnificent Monday was built. And I took 2 years to learn, which is quite quick actually, but it was 3 practices a week, 2 hours a day, so that's 6 hours a week of practice, and practicing at home at the same time. Wow. And I performed for the first time in India in 40 degrees heat in a 2-hour-long parade where I don't know how I did it, but I did it somehow.
Where do you think that came from? What do you mean, I don't know how I did it? How did it happen?
I think that comes from determination, grit, devotion, dedication and discipline, and through the affection and love we have for our Guru, Shree Muktajeevan Swamibapa and Lord Swaminarayan.
Lovely, excellent. A lot of these there, devotion, discipline, determination.
Yeah, so the band goes by devotion, dedication and discipline. Oh. So where devotion, which is us devoting our time to God, meets dedication and discipline, so we dedicate our time. No one here gets paid. It's all for free, and we all dedicate our time and we devote ourselves to God.
Excellent. Would you rather be elsewhere at all? Have you thought about it?
No, I'll always be 100% of the time, because this is where I've grown up and this is my community, and we'll all be friends for life essentially. We've all known each other since we were basically born, and we've all grown up together. So this is our community, and I would not like to leave this. I will never leave this place.
Oh, thank you, Raj, for sharing that. So you joined 11 years ago,
yep,
because it was 2014. And
from then to now, I asked somebody else on the show this as well. From then to now, what has changed within you? Apart from, of course, it comes with any sport or passion that you follow, right?
Yeah.
Discipline, determination, all of that. But so what changed in you?
So I'll rewind it back to about 2008, actually. So I was going through quite a rough time with my family. So my parents were going through a divorce at that time. So there was a lot of, I wasn't in the right frame of mind. I didn't really want to come to Temple, actually. So I didn't really have that sort of connection from Temple. So as things got better with my family, I got asked by various current members of the band, join the band. Initially, I was hesitant. I didn't really want to join a band. And then eventually I thought, you know what, there's no harm in trying. So I tried, got in. And since I've joined the band, my skill set and I've grown and developed so much in this amount of time. So I've picked up skills that I wouldn't probably pick up if I wasn't in the band. I've learned to become a leader. I manage some things about the band. For example, when we go on international trips, I'll manage all the logistics, manage all the things for the players, and liaise with all the international organizers. So that's one thing I've learned. And also, I've also picked up other skills such as communication and maybe also PR and public relationships, as you know. So that's one thing I've also learned. So I also look after the visitor experience side in our temple. So that's making sure that all the guests feel welcomed, making sure that the temple is a welcoming place. So I've now stepped into a leadership role in the temple in another department through the band. And I don't think I would have taken on that leadership role if it wasn't for me being in the band, learning these skills, growing and developing, and learning to speak to other people.
Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing that so honestly and so involuntarily, without fear of judgment. Hopefully it'll help a lot of people who may be going through a difficult time. This could be a way to divert your energy, pick up a skill. Music anyway is therapy, they say. And this is such a beautiful form of music where you hear the tabla sounding Indian fusion with Scottish sort of tunes. Is there any favorite of yours? And last question, if in one line you had to say what Swamibapa Piper Band is to the world, what would that be?
I'll say Shree Muktajeevan Swamibapa Pipe Band is the best Scottish pipe band in the world.
Even better than the Scottish can.
I'd say so, yeah.
Raष्ट्रगीत